Peace and blessings, my sisters and brothers. This is Capron Patah hollering at you again. Tonight, or today, wherever you are in the world, we're going to talk about the 14th Meji, also known as Irete Meji. Irete is the Odu of determination. The same determination that gives us the state of course, grow, and self-improve, as well as achieve our goals. In its negative orientation, it's resistance to growth, as well as change. This is also a sign of initiation, and where the sacred wisdom keepers of the planet Earth come through. They are known as the Ogboni. Also, planet Earth is a living being, and those who come in this sign are supported by the planet Earth. This is an Odu of long life, where Shango and Orunmila stands up to ward off death. And those who come in this sign can become the planetary ambassadors of Ifa if they make the right necessary sacrifices as prescribed. It's emphasized on the need to recognize the sacrifice that our biological mother has made before and after our birth. It's good to acknowledge what she's done for us and how she was there for us. And therefore, in our later years, we can be supportive towards her in her golden years, as she has supported us. So in this Odu, that is very important to recognize the need to support your mother. Also, the pursuit of happiness comes with the territory of this earthly experience. However, we're also warned that chasing wealth should not be at the expense of our spiritual growth and development. There is nothing wrong with having the finer things in life, but let us not forget to take time to pray, meditate, or take time to dance to connect with the divine. Dancing is also part of our African-rooted form of spirituality. One must also take the time to pay attention to what's going on around us, especially when it comes to dealing with people. One test that you will face when you're under the influence of this energy is people accusing you of things and projecting their behavior and attitude about life onto you. It can also be the reverse, so one must be mindful of these things, especially when working in groups. Those under the influence of Irete Meji often find themselves working in groups for a common cause and must therefore learn to lead by example. And when it comes to accusations under the influence of this energy, it's important to remain calm, plead your case, but do not return judgment, because this will only make it worse and increase the attitude held by your accuser that they are in fact right. The sacrifice here is to forgive and not hold grudges. The need to behave maturely is also emphasized in Irete Meji. It pays to meditate on situations where one must apply conflict resolution, learning how to respond as opposed to react. Here we must learn how to not only behave in a calm and collected way, but not to behave rashly and embarrass ourselves, causing those around us to lose even more respect for us, if any was lost in the first place. Therefore, there is the need to develop a strategy on how to be socially competent. This Odu also deals with the resurrection of the dead, the death of the ego, the death of an old way of thinking. This is important because ego can be broken down to mean edging God out. And that is when you put the false self ahead of everything else in life. The death of the ego, the death of an old way of thinking and being, so that one may be mentally and spiritually resurrected with a new way of thinking and therefore becoming a new being. And by losing our memory of who we are and why we are here is to be spiritually dead in a sense. To regain that memory is to bring back the parts that have been scattered and remember, and therefore resurrected. Moving beyond the reactive way of thinking and being, and leaning towards thinking and being on the highest level. So once again, we remember, and we're therefore resurrected. Also, the idea of initiation deals with the death of an old self and the birth of the new self, where one even receives a new name. When it comes to understanding our purpose in Irete Meji, it deals with initiation and unceasing prayer to Olodumare. When we keep our minds on that which is exalted, it takes us away from the thoughts that wreak havoc on our moods and ability to bring positive and productive events and outcomes into our lives. Hence, this unceasing prayer to Olodumare, that is the divine, the supreme being, is a frequency one finds themselves being on. The remembrance of one's origin in the Kolio rune goes beyond the effort to even think about. Now, one is in a constant state of awareness, and this reflects in one's behavior. So initiation in the road of self-mastery. Let's look at that word initiation too. Initiation comes from the Latin word initium, which means beginning. To initiate is to begin a thing or a journey. To initiate is to begin, to start our lives over, or to start in a new process. Our lives are full of initiations. Mastery does not mean that the journey is over, but one has become great at something, and mastery is the result of dedication to a practice and a process. No longer dwelling on consistency of anger, sadness, depression, and thoughts of revenge, but the renewal and elevation of our minds. This is necessary for our mental health as well. This is why it's very important to change the way we think, behave, and act. This is the Odu of resurrection. Metaphorically speaking, remaking ourselves for the better. Living in a constant state of divine awareness. Self-improvement and determination to obtain the objective is the name of the game. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We have 2 more Mejis to go. We have Oshe and we got Ofun Epa. We'll talk more about it. Hopefully you continue in your journey, continue to grow and expand. We'll talk soon. Peace and blessings.